shocking details surrounding a female cannibal rapist who pretended to be a wolf during an attack have emerged. Alison Weaver, 47, will spend at least a decade behind bars after she tied up another woman and bit and strangled her in September 2019. Weaver was sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison on Wednesday, after hearing her victim read an impact statement in the courtroom, sharing that she will have to deal with the emotional and physical pain for the rest of her life. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office received a call at 1:23 a.m. on September 17, 2019, in Rochester Hills, Michigan. A resident reported that he heard two women fighting in the apartment above him. Deputies received no answer after knocking at the home but heard someone calling out, and managed to enter through an unlocked door. They found Weaver and the victim in the master bedroom upstairs. Both were naked while Weaver was on top of the other woman on the floor next to the bed, said police. They saw the two women covered in blood, said Oakland County Sergeant Jason Malbeck during an October 2019 court hearing. One was lying on the floor. Another was kneeling next to her, and they're both in this dazed and confused state. Deputy Sean Hopkins testified, saying, one was lying on her back on the floor. The other one was sitting up on her knees between the bed and the victim lying on the floor. The woman had multiple bite marks on her face while her left ear was partially bitten off. Weaver was under the influence of drugs or alcohol, said deputies. Alcohol, unknown prescription drugs, and containers with marijuana were found in the kitchen, they said. Hopkins said that Weaver appeared to be in a happy mood after being found by police. She was having a good time. The victim was very quiet, almost appeared like she may have been in shock, he said. Victim allured by attacker. The victim told police that she and Weaver used to be neighbors and she had invited Weaver over for drinks. Weaver reportedly made sexual advances toward the woman, who refused and went to bed, said police. She put the alcohol beverages that she brought, she put them down, said the victim. She came over to give me a hug because we hadn't seen each other in a long time, and that's when she proceeded to kiss me. She kissed me with an open mouth kiss and my reaction was to just kind of laugh and brush it off and stop it. The woman decided to go to bed but when she woke up, she found Weaver strangling and biting her, she said. I remember jumping off my bed and seeing Alison on all fours on my bed, and me standing there and she was on all fours giving me a really scary look, said the victim. I was like, Alison, Alison, what are you doing? She just kept giving me this look with her head going back and forth. I was like, what are you doing? She just lunged at me, and she just started strangling me. Animal-like movements. The victim added that we've made animal-like movements with her head and teeth, and the two of them were completely naked. Ms. Weaver told me that they were having consensual sex and that the victim was a vampire and that Ms. Weaver was the wolf, said Hopkins. Weaver was given a chance to address the court by Oakland County Judge Nancy Grant. I would like to apologize to the victim and her family, and also to my family, as well, said Weaver. I do feel really horrible about what happened. I wish I could take it away. Judge Grant called the crime an abomination and commended the victim for her strength. Horror movie script. The victim started off her statement, it was like being in a horror movie. And I wrote that down because when I reviewed the pre-sentence investigation, I had to read it a few times because I couldn't believe what I was reading, said Grant. Then, when I talked to the attorney about it, the first thing out of his mouth was, it was like reading a script for a horror movie. I can't even imagine what you were going through. I've been up here for 25 years and I've seen murder cases that were not nearly as violent as this case. I can't imagine, psychologically, where you, Weaver, were in doing this to her. and the excuses that were made for it, and then this is the first time I saw the medical records. In terms of all the wounds on her body and her face and her genitalia. Horrific is not even the word for it. The victim called for Weaver to serve more time than what was recommended. But there was already a sentencing agreement with a term longer than what the charges would have given Weaver, said Grant. I think this is the correct resolution to this particular matter, the judge said. I don't think that these charges would ever have intended to reflect what actually happened here. These charges are not what was seen here. So in some ways, it's a gift, for Weaver, what these charges are. They could have been worse. I'm glad it wasn't worse for you, the victim, physically, Mom. As part of Weaver's 10 to 15-year sentence in the Michigan Department of Corrections, she must also register as a sex offender.